politics, yes?
And news that affects you.
What an academic academic in their leadership rococo, leadership brababare.
It's all the serious stuff,
but with a light-hearted twist.
I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
And I'm Aghogho.
Join us 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Right here.
On Hard Facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. I don't know where Aghogho has slipped into. He was just with me as we were entering the studio. I guess he's been called into a meeting, and he'll be joining in pretty soon. Your first hard fact of the day. There's a police DPO who has received the Integrity Icon Award for rejecting a 6 million naira a month bribe. When Francis Erabo got the offer, he was not yet a DPO. He was a patrol officer at a pipeline making 37,500 naira a month. He said the temptation was strong and he almost gave in, but he did not. And so today we celebrate him. 6 million naira a month, Aghogho. That's what this man would have gotten.
Shaku Maku! Sava Negadev!
No, I do not.
You say Mangifi.
Okay. Well, what I do know is that no amount of bribe will make us turn away from hard facts. Aghogho and I are here every day to give you the best insights into today's most important topics. We bring them to you, break them down, and give you the facts so that you can form an informed opinion. And if you miss any show, you can catch it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. We've got a great show for you today. We're starting with the big three. The Oxford English Dictionary adds Nigerian words. The Queen of England is going to be saying how far. Well, I don't know if they added how far, but we're going to find out. The military and the Lagos state government are accused of displacing community at Tarkwa Bay. We'll look at that story, as well as Donald Trump considering placing U.S. visa restrictions on Nigeria. Jump and pass, I beg. Jump and pass.
It's a big controversy online now. I see the people like, he did say so, stop raising the alarm.
Everybody is saying, we're Republicans in Nigeria. Make America great again.
Look, Sandra, I just saw Donald Trump at Davos. He said he's going to release that list this week. He was asked the question, but he said, I'm not going to say the names of the countries on the list.
Okay. This is how we used to feel back in the day. Am I going to go for service in this batch or the next batch? No, is the list out? No, the list is not out. On the glass ceiling today, we're talking about the case of some women challenging the NYSC to permit skirts in its uniform. We're going to be looking at all sides of the argument. It will be great. It's happening immediately after Rally Academy at 3:45. So make sure you're here when the glass ceiling takes off at 4. On the big hard fact, we have a big conversation. Yes, Aghogho?
Yeah, we talk transportation, and then we'll do a nice beeline to an exclusive interview we had with the General Manager of Corporate Affairs, the News Department, Georges and Joy Kalu. I'm sure if you listen to this, you did hear Henrietta Yakubu, who is the GM Corporate Affairs for FAN, talk about what's happening with aviation. So it's important that we hear, a lot of stuff going on with aviation transportation.
Yes, indeed. After the news at 6, we have an important conversation coming up, yes?
Yeah. After the news at 6, we're going to be having Leadership Insight with Dr. Max. It's continuing his series, and I do let you know some hard fact about business and investment. He's the right guy you should listen to, and you better start listening to him early, otherwise you'll miss everything because it happens very quickly.
Very quickly, because everybody wants the goods, Where can I invest? I have 100K, what can I put it in? I have 5K, what can I put it in? The show you should be listening to is
Inside My Pocket.
What's inside your pocket? It happens at 6:15. Pay attention to that. Now, as usual, throughout the show, we're bringing you the latest news updates, including business, sports, entertainment. But let's start off with the big three.
This is the Big Three.
The big three on Hard Facts
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
You know what to expect on the big three stories that everybody is talking about right now. Will the Queen of England say Mama Put? Is government contemptuous of the poor? And will the US deny Nigerians visas? Let's get into the stories. In London, you can now call a double-decker bus a downfall. You can now call a fish and chip shop a Mama Put. And you can now say the Queen just gave Prince Harry a send forth. That's because the Oxford English Dictionary, one of the gatekeepers of the English language, has included 29 words and phrases of Nigerian origin. In a blog post announcing the inclusion, the OED said that it was in recognition of Nigerians, quote, taking ownership of English and using it as their own medium of expression and continuing to make a unique and distinctive contribution to English as a global language. Do you have the full list with you, Aghogho?
I think I do.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if it is because I'm seeing some words I'm
And you're in shock, right?
I'm in shock. I've seen Babin Saloon.
It's there.
It's there.
Is there.
I've
The full
seen-
list of Nigerian words admitted to the dictionary. Babin Salon, they did.
I'm not shocked with Bukateria, but K-leg.
K-leg is in the dictionary now. Buka. You're even saying Bukateria. Buka is in the dictionary
Yes.
now. Chop is in there.
I love the Bukateria, you know.
You know, beg. Now Bukateria.
But I didn't see
Chop, the way we say
I didn't
it.
see reverse back.
Hey, but
And
there's flag off in
yeah.
there.
There's flag off. There's
To eat money in there in the dictionary now. To eat money is now in the
yeah,
dictionary.
and then this controversial one is there now. Next tomorrow.
Uh-huh. There's Ember Month in there as well.
Yeah.
There's gist now
There's
as a noun, and there's gist as a verb.
There's Tokumbo. Mm-hmm. Which
There's
will-
to put to bed. Usually only Nigerians that used to say that, to put
and
to bed.
Ember. Ember month. is
Ember
there.
Month is there. To rub minds is there. Qualitative is there. Self. I can now say self, and self is in the dictionary. So, you know self, eh? Yeah. Self is there. Send forth is there. Severally is there. We can stop making that correction now. It's not to say several times. It's to say
But
severally.
there's no trafficator.
But there's zone,
Or trafficate.
there's zoning, there's
Yeah.
downfall, there's Kannywood, there's goober. It turns out Nigerians are the only ones who say goober. There's non-indigen, there's Okada,
Yeah, Okada deserves to be there.
there's Okada. So the Queen will gist with these words severally, Sef Aghogho. It's quite amazing.
And then zone. But, zone has been there before. But now the Nigerian way is I zone the guy. As a verb is now there too.
I'm just grinning ear to ear because it's a beautiful day. Now, as somebody who speaks English for a living and as a Nigerian, it feels good to see that our way of speaking the language has become so influential that the most authoritative English dictionary on the planet has bowed and added our words. I'm sure that more words are going to be added.
You like chop too
This
much.
was just the flag off. By the way, flag off is also something that Nigerians say. This Nigerian English that we have put to bed will continue to change global English tomorrow and next tomorrow. Yes, because next tomorrow is now in the English dictionary. Oh my God.
I think you're putting to use a lot of this now. Soon
Yes,
send you-
I'm using a lot of it.
I'm sending you forth very soon.
Oh, yes. Now we have to, we have to use a lot of it. But perhaps I think this is a sign that Nigerians should rub minds and do what the non-indigens have done, which is to write our own qualitative dictionary. But this time for Nigerian English. I think we need to do that. The Oxford Dictionary is showing us that it is time to stop thinking our English has K-leg
Yes.
or is Tokumbo version of the British English. It is its own legitimate version, kind of like Australian English, Aghogho.
Yes. So the Igbo man can start to answer to Kumbo.
I don't know about
Is there
that.
Oyibo there? Let me look for Oyibo.
No, there's no Oyibo. But
Oyi-
there should be Oyibo.
Yeah, Oyibo man comes in here. He knows Oyibo means he's...
Yeah, you're
You're the
referring to
one.
him. Hey, but which other Nigerian words would you want to see added to the dictionary, right? Which of
Malian.
the words or phrases already added is your favorite? Malian is probably going to be in there. Mado should be in the dictionary. Have you heard Mado?
Mad over you.
No, just Mado. If somebody says something that blows your mind, you say Mado.
Madu. It's Igbo word now, isn't
No,
it?
it's not Igbo.
Oh, yeah, Madu.
It's mad and Mado.
Madu.
Okay. I'm obviously too young for you.
We want to put some Yoruba words there too. We can put Netine. That should be a Yoruba word that should go in there too.
Which of the words or phrases already added is your favorite? Do you think that Nigeria should borrow a page from Oxford and complete our own Nigerian English dictionary? 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. Yes, we're sharing great news for the first time on Hard Facts. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. Hello.
Waiting day.
No, waiting there, no day the dictionary, shall.
You know the day.
No, you know day, never enter. If he enter, shall, but he never enter.
But Shakubaku there for there.
He never enter.
Shadow for me now.
But at least you have downfall there, so you can manage that one instead of shadow,
Yes,
eh?
there's downfall there, so you know.
It's just like I had one person saying that all this thing, when they teach our like in our school, we use our pidgin. They explain so many things you get. And it gonna make sense now because now they flow away.
English, pidgin no be English now.
It gonna make sense for you in Nigeria.
But did they prepare you for global audience, not before just Nigerian audience now?
They've got a so nice one.
Thanks for calling us. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Sandra Ezekwesili. Shaku Maku.
Hey, Makushi!
Don't worry. If you lobby me enough, I'll talk to the queen for you. You can put it in the. Yes. This is MI from Makoka.
Hi, am I?
When I get to the central station, I'll tell the driver, maybe you'll be down for driver.
Switch to Igbo now. I'm telling you. Did you ever watch Ichoku?
Are you telling me I should have it?
When you get on the double-decker bus, you be like, pack.
How you find in Nigeria. They say when you get to London, how you find in Nigeria is the man that shouts loudest in the bus.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's good. Like I said, I'm very I possess that elocution and erudition. I believe in local languages. I believe in indigenous phraseology. You understand? We should own it. Local doesn't mean inferior. English is somebody's local language, but because of I still say we have not really recovered from colonization.
Yeah.
Everybody, they make you feel like your language is, but really, we should be exporting our language to the world. That's what English did. The English did. They exported their language so that your official language is their own language. So let's just do it for the culture. I'm very excited. At least one of the few things that make us laugh. So next time I get to London, Biko,
all right, thanks for calling, MI. Hello, good evening, good afternoon to you. That's our cue to take a quick break. When we come back, let's move on to our second story. It's not so fun. It's not a funny one at all. But that's the one we're going to talk about next. We hear that certain things are happening at Tarkwa Bay. So if you live there and you'd like to share your own eyewitness accounts of what happened at Tarkwa Bay, we'd like to hear from you as well. We're going to also be talking to somebody who experienced what we've been seeing on social media at Tarkwa Bay. You're listening to The Big Three on Hard Facts. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
And I'm Oboh.
Stay right here on The Big Three on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Hello?
Please hold on for Sandra.
is the Big Three
The Big Three on Hard Facts.
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, Lagos, you're still listening to the Big Three on Hard Facts. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
And I'm Aghogho Oboh.
We told you that the Oxford English Dictionary added Nigerian words. Our second story, accusations that the military went into Tarkwa Bay and displaced them from their community on Tuesday. It's pretty disturbing. This was in an alleged raid that included sporadic gunfire. The Punch, Premium Times, and other online publications have carried the story with pictures. And according to the Punch, the evacuation exercise was conducted by personnel of the Navy. The newspaper quotes a Navy officer as claiming it was an attempt to stop oil bunkerers, whom the Navy alleges have built houses over pipelines in the bay to conceal their oil pumping activities. The newspapers also quote members of the affected community as saying that the action had taken place without prior warning or without consideration for their safety or where they would go. We have an eyewitness from Tarkwa Bay community on the show with us, Maria. Hello, Maria.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Maria. And first and foremost, I mean, it's a real tragedy. I understand you're a resident of Tarkwa Bay.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and so this must be very tough for you and I guess relatives who have lived with you in Tarkwa Bay. How long have you lived in Tarkwa Bay?
3 years.
3 years. So tell us exactly what has happened in the last, we understand, a couple of hours where this forced eviction happened.
Okay. Before the eviction happened, there's a place called Aghogho in Tarkwa Bay. That place is really close to the pipeline. And then last week they came, they said it's so close to the pipeline and they are supposed to evacuate. They give them a week notice. So after the notice, everybody parked and then they demolished the place. Then the main village of Tarkwa Bay, the women were scared that they might demolish our place too. So they went ahead to the Navy base and the NNPC base to beg. And then they told us that they are not sending us away, that it's just the houses close to the pipeline and on the pipeline.
Good.
Not until yesterday morning, they were gunshots and everything. A soldier knocked on my door and told me, I was about to take my bath, my towel, because I was going to work. And then he was like, pack your things. I was like, pack my things from where to where? Then he was like, Madam, if you don't pack your things, I will shoot you. I just said packing because I was so scared with the word he said. And then the next thing, everybody was running helter-skelter. They gave us just 1 hour to pack and evacuate the area.
Oh, this is serious.
I even have a friend of mine. Our uncle was shot on the leg and aunt was beaten because he refused to pack his things.
Your friend's uncle was shot where?
On his leg.
On his leg.
I have a picture of the gunshot, like the gun wound.
Tell us something. So you were not given any notice to move prior to when this
No,
officer knocked on your
1
door?
hour yesterday morning.
Did,
There was no,
did any of the officers say why, or did they tell anybody why they were asking you to leave that day and giving you only 1 hour to do it?
they didn't tell anybody, not until this morning, I feel, because everybody is on the case. They said saying some people went to vandalize the pipeline, which I don't actually believe. Because you can't actually punish a whole community because of the sin of few.
So where are you now? I assume that you don't have anywhere where you're staying now.
Yeah, most of the residents are CMS, most of us are Aghogho.
CMS Aghogho. Has Tarkwa Bay is under what local government now? Help me out here. Etiosa local government. Have you had any words from the local government authority, from the state government about what happened today?
No, not anything yet.
Nothing. Do you have leaders in your community you are in contact with?
Everybody don't even know where everybody is. It's just the one you can find and the one you can save.
Wow.
Now, we've received reports that similar actions have been occurring in nearby communities before now. Were you aware?
Yes, we were.
Okay. And it was for the same reasons that you guys were giving as well?
We can't even tell. We can't tell.
All right, Maria. Again, we're so sorry that you're dealing with this, and we're going to keep talking about this until we get word from someone authoritatively. Maria, thank you so much for talking to us on Nigeria Info.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now, the Punch is alleging that this has been an ongoing operation in the area, Aghogho. They quote an organization called the Nigerian Slum Informal Settlement Federation as saying that this is the 24th such community that has been evicted by the Navy in their operation to stop oil bunkerers. Now, we're still trying to get a hold of the spokesperson for the Navy to hear what they have to say. But again, the Punch has a quote from the Navy commander, Thomas Otuji, which they say he gave the French news agency AFP. Otuji is quoted as saying about the oil bunkerers, quote, "They build houses on pump lines and pump illegally. All the people in the community are not vandals, but if you don't report it, you are part of it."
Yeah. So two things I've also seen here being in terms of commentary. Interestingly, over the last couple of days, we've had discussions around development, whether it's with transportation planning, with the last my boss. I remember he's saying very well that any planning development that must happen in Lagos, for example, must be done with a human face. If you're doing urban renewal or development control, which is in this case that has happened here, one thing I've heard people talk about, especially people in the planning field, is the enforcement of development control with the use of the military. This is usually done with planning authority. The Ministry of Physical Planning, a Tiosta local government, where you have Tarkwa Bay, has the town planning office within the local government or the Ministry of Physical Planning to enforce with the assistance of the police. So the Navy's involvement here has raised a number of questions. Two, even though the law may say squatters, in this case, don't have the right to be given notice. If they've given some people notice before, and on the other hand, did not give this one notice, and gave an hour for them to evacuate, it raises a lot of question. Even if that is the case, the setback 15 meters from the pipeline, in this case, is why you need the planning authority involved here. If you're going to have this sort of thing go on, it must be led by the Ministry of Physical Planning and done in a way according to the law. So these are questions going forward they're going to have to answer in the first instance. Why you went ahead to use the military in this way to evict people, which is really strange.
And then there's also the idea of punishing an entire community for the alleged crime of a few people. Aghogho, could you imagine if because there's a suspected thief in a house here on Etimi and Crescent, they chase all of us away and they bulldoze the buildings? Some people would say that this is a lot like banning Okadas. Yes, that's a word now, Okadas, because of the actions of some Okada
in fact,
riders.
According to the law, the urban regional plan law, the only way you can move people out from the property that rightly belongs to them. Now, I do not know if the people in Tarkwa Bay have the required documents to even be there in the first instance. If they do have, then they have a valid case in the sense of resettlement, which has been an ongoing or compensation, or move them to an area first before you carry out the eviction, which is standard practice in planning, circles. But to say that there are squatters on the one hand, and then two, you did not give them notice, another bigger problem entirely. So we look forward to, our crew is going to be out there tomorrow also to find out exactly what is going on. And then we do hope we can get words from the Ministry of Fiscal Planning to understand
and
what
the
extent,
state government as well. Because these
Ministry
are
of
people who have been displaced.
Is the instrument for the state government and explain to us how did this happen without the Ministry of Fiscal Planning taking control of the situation. When I did go out, the FCDA years carry out demolition exercises, it was carried out by the Office of the Development Control Department with the FCT ministry and the FCDA.
Let's talk to you now. 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, and 01277 3993. Do you know what happened at Tarkwa Bay? Are you an eyewitness? Did you talk to an eyewitness? Hello. 99.3. Hello. 99.3. Hello.
Hello, good evening. I'm the First Lady.
Oh, good evening. How are you,
That's
sir?
President
Your name and where
to
you
you,
calling
not First
from?
Lady.
This is Rotimi, and from your First Lady, you ran away, you just came back from being under the weather.
I hear you. Oh, yeah, tell us, talk to us,
This is
Rotimi.
Rotimi from Midimo.
All right.
Vegas.
Please go on.
You see, if we flash our mind back to the dark days of constant killing by bunkers at Aghogho Journalist Estate and Ikorodu area, what these guys who damaged the pipeline and putting the country into chaos, particularly at Tarkwa Bay. It has happened before, along the creeks, down to the Delta area. You see, what the criminals do is to go into remote areas, set up their settlements, and the villagers are really always at a very great strain. They can report, they don't have the means. So you see, those who go there, it's always their culture to just come out to raise alarm and paint the security forces in dark colors.
But where is the place of the law? I mean, there's existing law. If you're going to
the thing is this: what put the national security and the national economy in chaos? The security forces. This is above the state. It's the nation's defense structure, the military.
But Rotimi, you know the irony. We've been following a number. What was going to happen at Bulegba yesterday? Majority of the reports we've had has often said that residents have reported that vandalism is going on with the pipelines, and the one common thing we've heard every time is that there has been no response.
You see,
that?
That is exactly where the
so now they punish the people, unfortunately.
Sadly, in Yoruba parlance, if you allow me to say a proverb that I might try to maybe translate, even is in the Bible that Ninu Ijiya Eleshe Olododo ma pinnu, that is, when the criminals are suffering, the righteous too may partake in tasting some of the pains there. The issue really Aghogho, is that we are under police. We have only.
Hello.
Oh, sorry about that. I think I was trying to make a point about the number of policemen, but, who can man? But it's just unfortunate.
All right, let's move on to our final story because we have to give way to our friends from Raleigh Academy. Don't forget that as soon as they're done, we'll have a conversation about service with skirts. From the Navy allegedly kicking Nigerians out of their homes to Americans possibly not letting us into their country. The Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Al Jazeera, and other international news outlets are reporting that President Donald Trump is considering extending his visa restriction program to Nigerians. Nigeria is reportedly on a short list of 7 countries, including Eritrea and Tanzania, that Trump is considering adding to the list next Monday. Trump confirmed yesterday that he was going to make the move, but said that he was still deciding which countries would be affected.
And so 100 and 200 million Nigerians, I understand, are on their way to religious centers and praying. If we escape the bullet this time, it won't be the first time. It's happened over, I remember when
3 years ago.
3 years ago, there was rumor.
Almost immediately after entering office, he announced the travel.
But this time around, the reasons we're hearing are pretty damaging. The number of Nigerians who overstay their visa is huge, and it keeps mounting. So we'll watch this story.
And there's Global Review coming up on Friday anyway. So this is definitely going to make an appearance, except something bigger overtakes it. All right, then let's hand you over to our guys from Raleigh Academy. When they're done, glass ceiling is taking over immediately. And we'll talk about the possibility of our women serving in skirts. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili.
And I'm Oboh.
May we go safe.